Outside of gaming, he has also been deeply involved with the growth of skateboarding and snowboarding in Canada. He aims to make preferred futures thrive in the present. Please welcome Dave Balmer.
Oh, it's nice that it's dark because I can't see the upper rows. When I was 5, I was given a skateboard. That's now 34 years ago. I don't think my dad, who is in the audience, had any idea what he was getting me and all of us into. It became a part of my life. It just became something that I loved. It was my great little toy. And as I grew older, I started to figure out that I was a skater. In the 80s, I thought this was good. I made my own shorts in home ec class. I dressed Miami Vice when I went to my junior high school grad. And I started to see the world differently. Started to see it as a skater individual and someone who was in conflict with some of the other people around me. It made me think about the world I was in. I was also blessed to have a skateboard ramp in my backyard, which now got to see the power of having a place we could go instead of roaming the streets and seeing what an experience could be of bringing people together. I went from a shy kid at the back of the class to a shy kid with lots of friends. And I also got to enjoy a trip from Calgary to Expo 86 in Vancouver. It was my introduction to Vancouver. I loved it. I knew I wanted to come back. I learned there were skateboard parks still existing, free for people to ride out in public. And I still made my own shorts in home ec class. And unfortunately had braces. In 1986, something else happened. We were invited to go to the World Championships of Snowboarding down in Breckenridge, Colorado. My brother, who got a snowboard that Christmas, was invited. So it was the very early days of snowboarding. This is the entire industry, essentially, at that time. I decided I had to become a snowboarder. I started standing sideways more and more in my life. These were the very early days. There was no such thing as snowboard boots. We just wore winter boots. We weren't allowed on most hills. And I was really excited when I got a free jacket from one of my sponsors. But it shows the time that we were in as we were getting started and having fun. My father, thinking a bit more into the future, he started the Alberta Snowboarding Association and eventually the Canadian Snowboarding Federation and showed me you could change your future. His dream in this article in 1990 was snowboarding would be in the Olympics. Not something I was thinking about or any of the people around us, but it showed you could think into the future. I moved to Vancouver. I started to skate the parks. I became sponsored. I started riding in some of the contests a bit more seriously and then realized I think I can make them better. And I quickly moved on to becoming more of an organizer, which was cool. This is state of the art in 1992. One of the very first border cross events run anywhere in the world. I had to send this picture to Steve Reckschaffner, who created border cross. And there really was a bomb shack, and there really was a photo finish. Technology has improved. And border cross is now in the Olympics, and so is snowboarding. Over the years, I stuck with skateboarding, helped start a company that builds skateboard parks around the world, inspired by things we have in Vancouver. I built a few indoor parks. They usually don't last very long because rent's expensive. Better to climb walls like rock climbers than to skate back and forth in massive open spaces. I also moved on to organizing events around skateboarding. So Slam City Jam used to be the premier event for skateboarding in the world. It was in Vancouver. It's the North American Skateboard Championships. It was awesome. It was awesome to be a part of skateboarders coming together and appreciating what they had. It grew very quickly. We probably had 20,000 people come out on a weekend. We had people like Tony Hawk. We were broadcast on NBC. This is a photo from the Coliseum, and you can see we were full to the rafters. We became something kind of powerful because we could bring so many people together in Vancouver. One of the benefits of being that powerful, getting media to show up, those things help. I was able to start Skateboard Week in Vancouver. I knew a few people at Youth Week, and I'd seen signs for Bike Month, and I thought skateboarders should have something. I was able to go to the mayor's office, and I wrote a proclamation, which they made official. Larry Campbell signed it, and we had a piece of paper. It wasn't that hard to get. You can probably get one if you want one. The important part is do something with it. We made signs, we went around at night and posted them all over the place. We had a banner that we got up on the stairs of City Hall, and we put huge banners, 35-foot tall banners, outside Slam City Jam and inside the building. My goal then was to have bigger banners than any of our sponsors. One of the other spin-offs, I'd always loved video games, but one of the spin-offs from Slam City Jam was we were featured in Tony Hawk's Underground, which took our event all over the world. Vancouver was one of the levels, Slam City Jam was one of the levels, I was one of the characters briefly. It was a true honor to be digitized. About the same time, the same Steve Reckschafter who invented Border Cross was working at EA and approached me, and I decided it was a good thing to try something new, and ended up at EA working on one of their snowboarding games called SSX. Great experience and stunning. It's easier to build stuff in reality than in video games. Moved on fairly quickly after I learned a few things to become one of the first 2 people on the Skate franchise, which became Tony Hawk's competitor, and fortunately or unfortunately also became his demise as far as the video games world. They shut down after 9 years of making a game every year. Vancouver was able to share something really special that people have been waiting for. We based it in the city of San Vanalona, which is our made-up city inspired by San Francisco, Vancouver, and Barcelona. Skate 3 is now coming out. It'll be on the shelves in May, and there's a demo next week for those who really love it. I am now working at Big Park, which is a Microsoft game studio. Microsoft's a big company. There's a lot of cool technology out there in the world. I look forward to sharing experiences someday in the future. But 6 minutes and 40 seconds is not a long time. So my invitation is, when I came to Vancouver, I found a place that I loved. And I saw things that I wanted that weren't there, and found ways to go out and make them happen. So if there's something you're looking for in Vancouver and you don't see it, go out there and make it happen. Whether you need a proclamation or to do something like this event here, that we can make Vancouver better. I've enjoyed it for 20 years.